The air inside the Capitol hearing room was thick with tension, of the kind you could feel in your chest before a single word was spoken. Cameras clicked, murmurs echoed off the marble walls, and in the middle of it all stood two men whose very names sparked emotion across the nation: Adam Schiff and Senator John Kennedy. It began like any other high-stakes congressional session: polished speeches, clipped tones, the usual political theater. But that day, something unexpected unfolded. Schiff, ever the calculated strategist, had grown visibly frustrated as Kennedy pressed him with a line of questioning that cut through the political niceties and reached something deeper: a truth. Kennedy's words weren't loud, but they carried a quiet force that made the room fall still. And that's when it happened. Schiff leaned toward the security team and, in a voice that carried both authority and irritation, ordered them to remove Senator John Kennedy from the hearing room. Gasps filled the chamber. The cameras caught every flicker of disbelief, every jaw dropping in shock. For a moment, Kennedy didn't move. He just sat there, eyes steady, hands clasped, his usual easy smile gone. Then, slowly, he rose to his feet. The tension was electric. "Mr. Schiff," he said evenly, his Louisiana drawl slicing through the silence, "you can throw me out, but you can't throw out the truth." The room froze. Even those who had come to watch quietly felt something shift. Kennedy wasn't shouting, he wasn't grandstanding, he was standing for something. Security hesitated, and you could see the uncertainty in their eyes. Removing a sitting senator wasn't just dramatic, it was unheard of. The murmurs grew louder. A few reporters rushed forward, microphones shaking in their hands. Schiff's face hardened, but Kennedy didn't flinch. Instead, he turned to the crowd and spoke, his voice firm yet calm. "Greater than we're not here to fight each other. We're here to fight for the people who put us here. And if we forget that, if we silence each other instead of listening, then we've already lost more than an argument. We've lost our country." You could hear a pin drop. Even Schiff's usual poise cracked for a second. Cameras zoomed in as Kennedy placed his notes on the table, not angrily, but with quiet finality, and walked toward the exit himself. He didn't wait to be escorted. He chose to leave. But here's where the story took an unexpected turn. Outside the hearing room, hundreds had gathered: staffers, reporters, even a few ordinary citizens who had come to watch democracy at work. When Kennedy stepped through the doors, they began to applaud. It started as a ripple, then swelled into something larger: a wave of approval, of gratitude, of understanding. Kennedy didn't bask in it. He simply nodded, his expression humble but resolute. "This isn't about me," he said quietly to a nearby reporter. "It's about whether we still believe in open conversation, even when it's uncomfortable." Within hours, the clip of the exchange went viral. Social media exploded with reactions, some praising Kennedy's courage, others defending Schiff's authority. But underneath the noise, something rare had happened. People were talking again, not screaming, not canceling, talking. By evening, Kennedy released a short statement. It wasn't fiery, it wasn't political, it was human. "Greater than disagreement doesn't make us enemies," he wrote. "It makes us Americans. If standing up for honest debate gets me removed, then so be it. I'd rather walk out with my integrity than sit quietly without it." The next day, even some of Schiff's usual supporters admitted that things had gone too far. Quiet conversations began in back offices and corridors about respect, free speech, and the fine line between order and control. In the days that followed, Kennedy's moment became more than a headline. It became a reminder, a mirror held up to a nation that's often divided but still capable of reflection. Because when one man chose principle over pride, it reminded millions watching that courage isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just refusing to be silenced. And in the end, that's what stayed with people, not the politics, not the tension, but the quiet strength of a single voice that refused to bow. A voice that said, without shouting, "You can remove me from the room, but not from the truth." When the dust settled, something surprising lingered, a faint but real sense of hope. Because for 15 minutes on a tense afternoon in Washington, America saw what leadership really looks like, not in who wins the argument, but in who stands tall when the world tells them to sit down. And that day, John Kennedy stood tall.